I am so excited to be here today. I remember when I started working at the Garifuna Coalition, many people thought I was crazy. This girl from corporate America, all of a sudden working for her community, unbelievable. And I said, you know what, to whom much is given, much is expected. So I decided to use my talent to help build my community. And this is what we have here today. It has been a team effort. It has been challenging at times, but we did it and we're here. This is actually my first time introducing Jose Francisco Avila. He normally introduces me, so I'm extra excited today. But just really quickly, earlier, I believe in motivational speakers. If you guys haven't listened to Les Brown or the Jim Rohns, please do. It's exciting. I was listening to Les Brown this morning, and he told a story about the Chinese bamboo tree. He mentioned that before it sprouts, the Chinese bamboo trees, the ground needs to be fertilized and it needs to be well kept, and it takes it 5 years before it sprouts. Today we're celebrating our sixth anniversary and proclaiming Garifuna American Heritage Month for the first time in Brooklyn. So, the story of the bamboo tree. After it takes 5 years to just sprout off the ground with careful care, it takes it about 5 weeks to grow 90 feet tall after it sprouts. And what does that tell you? We've been working hard, we've been working diligently, and I love the way Jose Francisco Avila puts it. We've been working to come from obscurity to the pinnacle of recognition. And today I want to give thanks to you, Brooklyn Borough President, for having us here today, for recognizing our growth, for recognizing our community, for recognizing our potential, for recognizing the 90 feet tall people, okay? And without further ado, in the Garifuna community, we are a community of friends, family, mentors. We believe that it takes a community and community members to stick together to make it grow. I myself am proud to say and to call Jose Francisco Avila not just my mentor, but my very good friend. He is the reason why I'm standing here today. You see, he did something that no one else has ever did in our community. He closed the generational gap and allowed this younger person to lead. So I want to thank you for believing in me, and thank you for making all this possible. So once again, without further ado, President of the Board, Jose Francisco Avila.
Welcome. Thank you so much for those kind words, and thank you for doing everything that you do. Welcome to the Garifuna American Heritage Month celebration in Brooklyn. Thank you, Brooklyn Borough President Eric Adams. And I have to, I'll start by saying that I tell young people the fact that I come from a generation where my word is my bond. And I'll tell you that a year ago, we were in Albany, in the New York State Senate. And then New York State Senator Eric Adams came in when we came in to receive the proclamation of Garifuna American Heritage Month, looked into the balcony and said, Vilma Guiti Zuniga is my constituent. And next year, when I'm Borough President, we will have a celebration in Brooklyn, and here we are. And for those of you who don't know, stand up, Vilma Guiti Zuniga. Welcome again. The reason that we are here, the reason that we celebrate Garifuna American Heritage Month has to do with the fact that this is the 217th anniversary of the forcible deportation of our ancestors from the island of St. Vincent to the island of Roatan, which is how we ended up in Central America, Belize, Guatemala, Honduras, and Nicaragua. And through the process of immigration, today, New York City is home to the largest Garifuna community outside of Central America. Over 200,000 of us call New York home. Over 200,000 Garinagu. Okay, and that's why we do what we do. And the reason we started doing this for the Garifuna community is to raise awareness about our community. And that, as Suma mentioned, and I always conclude, we have uplifted the community from obscurity to the pinnacle of recognition. With those words, I want to welcome you tonight. And at this point, I'd like to bring Father Pastor Andrew Nunez to present the invocation. Let's give him a hand.
Bitibungyo. Suwanda. God is good. All the time. Even when we are not good, God is good. And God make us good. Let us stand. Eternal God, we stand here before you to give you thanks for the Holy Spirit to be in this place. Lord, help us that whatever we do, that will bring honor and glory unto you. Bless your people. Thank you for this city. Thank you for the Borough President and our organization. We thank you for all your people. Bongyu Nugushi, Yang Silbe, Sereme di Blagu Wele Biche Wong. Sereme Lagu Le Sipi Stando Lagu Biche Wong Rambole. Bongyu Nugushi, Ida Wama, Luwiche Weregunebo, Lila Sunkate Waduga Rambole, Lila Lira Jesu Christo, Wenga, Iterala. In God's name, amen.
Please stand, and let me invite Lucy Blanco to perform the U.S. National Anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the
Thank you, Lucy. And now I'd like to invite Mr. Felix Gamboa, who will sing the International Garifuna Anthem.
Yirume Yerunege Wayuna. Yirume Yerunege Wayuna. Umbe benene wabo waruwaite. Umbe benene wabo hudubai biagumari wabo. Hudubai biagumari wabo walu wahainanya garinago walade. Aliumo chururun tiduna. Aliumo chururun tiduna. Liumo chururun tiduna waruwaite. Liumo chururun tiduna nyem bagira bagira wabo. Anyem bagira bagira wabo. Waluwa hainanya garinago walade. Aburari babagae wabo. Aburari babagae wabo. Burari babagae wabo waruwaite. Aburari babagae wabo. Tuguya babagae wabo. Amburari babagay wabo waluwa hainanya garinago walade. Yurumegie buga wagay rabay bugarga mutiwa haruti nyunye. Yurumegie buga wagay rabay bugarga mutiwa haruti nyunye. Ligi yaguwa ye bibay faya faya hanya duglencho. Waluwa hainanya garinago walade. Ligi yaguwa ye bibay faya faya hanya duglencho. Waluwa hainanya garinago walade. Hai ligi yaguwa ye bibay faya faya hanya duglencho. Waluwa hainanya garinago walade.
Please be seated. The name of that song is Yurume, which is what our ancestors used to call St. Vincent and the Grenadines back in the days. And actually, that song tells the story of the journey of our ancestors from St. Vincent to Roatan. And that song is sung at every Garifuna celebration in every country of the diaspora, including the U.S., just like you heard now. Again, welcome once again to the celebration of Garifuna American Heritage Month. Go ahead, applaud. Okay, and at this point, I would like to introduce the person responsible for us being here. I just told you the story, and once again, I want to thank him. Please welcome Brooklyn Borough President, Mr. Eric Adams.
I am extremely patriotic, and I have a deep passion for America. But I'll be darned if I don't like that national anthem you just sang better. There is something up in that. And you did not need to know the words to feel the struggle and the experience. And the beauty of being the Borough President of Brooklyn is that you have the opportunity to come to the reality that no particular group has patent struggle. And our goal as we move forward in the next 4 years is to allow us the opportunity to appreciate the struggle of all of us. If it's our early Chinese or early Jews or early African Americans or early Caribbeans or early Garifunas, we all have a tale, we all have a story. And our young people will appreciate the beauty of diversity if we share that story to each of them. That's so important. Here in the borough of Brooklyn, 47% of Brooklynites speak a language other than English at home. That is an amazing number. And there's a Shakespearean tragedy for those of us who only stay within the geographical boundaries of their culture. If you allow yourself to cross-pollination of other cultures and the beauty of other cultures, you will realize the beauty of diversity and how it enhances our skill set, our ability, and allows us to fully nurture our full personhood. That is the goal that we are reaching for. And Borough Hall is going to lead that. And we've had a great 12 years with my predecessor, but I'm the borough president now. We are going to allow this building to be an expression of the various cultures that make up this great borough. Give us a year or so, and you would not be looking around these walls seeing pictures of people you no longer know. There's more than one way to say you are welcome. Art and music and sound and poetry and dress attire. We're going to do an international day over the summer where we're going to call all of the groups in Brooklyn to wear their international attire and be out here and surround this building. It's easy to talk about appreciating diversity, but it's another thing to enact it and practice it in a real way. Allowing national anthems being sang throughout this building. Allowing our corridor outside to be beautified with the dress and the music. I'm telling you, when you allow beautiful music from different cultures to come into a place, it leaves the ancestral energy in that place, and it keeps us committed to the things that we're supposed to do. The ancestors of the Garifuna people are proud today to see you sit in Borough Hall, the largest borough in the largest city. It's a great moment for you. Don't dismiss it as an insignificant moment taking place on the Garifuna stage of history. You have said to the country that you have arrived. And you should be noticed, and you should be understood, and you should be appreciated. Great cultures and great communities have adorned this courtroom for years. Now it is your turn. It is your turn. And I remember like yesterday, sitting on the Senate floor hearing about the history of the Garifuna people and looking up in the stand and seeing my good friend Vilma. And we weren't elected borough president, yes, and there were some people that said we would not be elected. But we had news for them. I had the energy of the Garifuna people on my side. I spoke it into existence. I didn't say if I'm elected, I said when I'm elected. That's what I'm talking about. And so you're supposed to have your first Brooklyn celebration in Brooklyn Borough Hall when you have Eric Adams as your borough president. That is supposed to happen. You know, and I know some of you are from the Bronx. That's all right. It's all right. Brooklyn is the baddest borough and the baddest city and the baddest country. That's right. So I got to be the baddest cat around right now. You know? So I want to thank you in a very real way, and I want to thank my staff for this. We were excited all day. We were talking about, you know, the Garifuna people are coming. You know, all day. That's all we talked about. That they're going to be here, and we're going to have this celebration and enjoy what this community has to offer. And so we have 4 solid years, and you should mark on your calendar each year your celebration, and then we're going to move on and we're going to get reelected, and we're going to do 8 years. And then after we finish our 8 years, we're going to take this celebration to City Hall. You know, and we're going to do our first there. So I want to thank Jose and Vilma and Zuma and all of you for coming today. And don't say thank you to me and my staff, to Jerry and Laurie, We say thank you because you enhance our lives when you come into this place. And I felt in that song is going to resonate with me throughout my entire day. Because trust me, there's some tough and difficult challenges we are facing. It's not going to be easy. People realize my spirit of inclusiveness. And so they're going to try to do so many mean-spirited things to try to take us off course, but we're going to remain focused, and I'm just going to hum that national anthem. And you know, a national anthem takes different meaning when you rock with it. I was about to get on the floor and start doing my little two-step. You know, I'm going to download it, and as I'm sitting in my office, I'm just going to play it over and over again. And I am going to awaken the spirit and energy of the Garifuna people to let them know to walk with me, talk with me, stand with me, and keep me focused on what we need to accomplish. So we are finishing off some of these Marty Markowitz proclamations we have left over. So I'm going to give one to you. And I'm not going to read it all. I'm just going to say, whereas Chairman and Board of Director Jose Avila and the members and supporters of the Garifuna Coalition USA Incorporation have come together to celebrate Garifuna American Heritage Month to acknowledge the cultural and economic contributions of the Garifuna population to the mosaic fabric of our borough. Now, therefore, I, Eric Adams, Garifuna, President of the Borough of Brooklyn, do hereby proclaim the month of April Garifuna American Heritage Month. I sign with my hand and signature, Eric Adams, Borough President of the Borough of Brooklyn. I thank you so much.
Velma,
Come on, Vilma.
a picture.
Come on, George. Get up.
Let's give the Borough President a hand again. Okay, moving right along. We have some remarks from representatives of some of the nations where the Garifunas are located. And at this point, I'd like to bring up Ms. Paulette Erlington, Consul Officer of Belize to the UN, for a few remarks.
Good evening, everybody. Thank you very much to the Brooklyn Borough President, his staff, Vice President. Thank you for the invitation, the gracious invitation for the Mission of Belize to come and Thank you very much for the very gracious invitation extended to the Mission of Belize to come and spend a few minutes with you and to come and appreciate and acknowledge our wonderful Belizeans or Garifuna brothers and sisters in the region, and my adopted mother and my older brother who are being awarded this evening. I just want to bring you very brief comments from the government of Belize. And then I will ask, we have a delegation visiting, and we have a special representative from the Garifuna community visiting with us from Belize, and she will address you more comprehensively. But I just wanted to say very briefly that this gathering here, the fact that our Garifuna people have been able to not only have a day of celebration, not a week of celebration, but a month of celebration in New York City, in the United States of America, is only the most basic of attestations to the spirit of the Garinagu people that refuses to die, refuses to surrender, and the spirit of a people who understands the importance of culture, the importance of sharing that culture, the importance of teaching our children that culture so that it grows and thrives, and it also helps to educate people of the world, hopefully working towards the continual breaking down of barriers. I think that's it that I have to say. I'm very, very nervous. And I will introduce our visiting delegate from Belize to just briefly say words of welcome. Thank you.
Buitramaweu, Musun Hayabe. Maluwe Nugunda Lunararm Yahigibuge, Rambawele. Nuguyele Ifasina Efunyemi Nirbe. Gunatna Luna Nugu Mabugo Hum Balisige. Good evening to all present here. How great my happiness to stand before you this evening. I am Ifasina Efunyemi, and I am happy to bring you greetings from Belize. In life, there really are no coincidences. It is no coincidence that 217 years after our ancestors were packed in ships and forced to leave our homeland, St. Vincent, exiled because we refused to be enslaved and left first on Balisao, one of the Grenadines islands of St. Vincent, and then on Roatan Island of Honduras, to die. Here we are 217 years later, filling this room, filling the United States, filling Barranco, Hopkins, Dangriga, Belize City, all the plethora of communities in Honduras, La Boga, Nicaragua. Here we are in the United States and all over the world. Here we are 217 years later when they wanted us to die. Let's give ourselves a round of applause. We are filling this room and many rooms around the world, speaking Wanasio, our language, dancing our dances, punta, paranda, hugu hugu, and the list goes on, wearing our attire, preserving and celebrating our culture. Our ancestors must be smiling on us now. Nothing is a coincidence. It is not a coincidence that I would be part of the Belize delegation of the 47th session of the United Nations Commission on Population and Development that is happening right now at the United Nations headquarters here in New York. It is no coincidence that Numada James Lovell, one of the honorees this evening, wanted so much for me to be at this event in which he is being honored for his work in Garifuna cultural preservation. Congrats, Numada, and all of you. And it is no coincidence that I was asked by the head of delegation to attend this most esteemed gathering. This is the work of ancestors, and I give honor to them for making my presence here possible. I take this opportunity to applaud the organizers of this wondrous event and to recognize the work of the Garifuna Coalition. Please give them a great round of applause. Honorable Seremenho Luago Huadugumari. We have survived and we have persevered since 1797, and we have so much to celebrate over these 217 years and the many more centuries to come. May we continue to make our ancestors smile. May we continue to preserve Wanasio, our food, our clothes, our honor of ancestors. May we continue to exude their strength, which they drew from unity. May we continue to be the wonderful, strong people that we have been since the 1700s to the present. Honorable Seremenho.
Thank you, my sister. She mentioned the ancestors a few times, and just before we get started, a young lady came up to me. She's related to one of the honorees and said, do you remember my father? And I said, of course I remember your father. And she said, my father will be very proud of this event. And I said to her, I said, I'll tell you what I always say in public. I stand on the shoulders of those who came before me, and it is my duty to honor their legacy. And I said to her, this event is to the legacy of every ancestor, every one of our ancestors. At this moment, I'd like to invite Ms. Marlena Ballantyne, representative of the St. Vincent and the Grenadines UN mission. Remember that I said St. Vincent is the homeland of the Garifuna, and she had greetings for us. Ms. Ballantyne.
Ladies and gentlemen, a pleasant good evening. It is a great honor and a privilege for me to be here this evening. My ambassador, Her Excellency Rhonda King, permanent representative to the United Nations, was invited to this event, and due to the fact that she had to be elsewhere, she asked me to attend on her behalf. I jumped at the opportunity because I see myself as a very proud Garifuna. I not only represent the permanent mission of St. Vincent and the Grenadines to the UN here this evening, I see myself representing a small group of people from a small community in St. Vincent called Sandy Bay. I belong to one of those who were left behind after the Garifuna exile in 1797. And this evening I've got my friend here with me. His name is Gideon Lewis. He's also from that little community. And both of us, we're proud to be here among you this evening. I promise not to say too much because I was only asked to say something when I got here. But just being here, it's really, really proud. Just meeting Jose Francesco Avril for the first time. It's as if he's a relative of mine. I said to him earlier, I see my cousin, Dr. Kedrin, my mom's cousin, Dr. Kedrin Gill. They look so similar. And maybe if I did some tracing, I might find out that you're actually my cousin as well, or I'm not sure. But yeah, thank you so much for the invitation. And you know, our people we've gone through a lot of struggles, a lot of ridicule, a lot of neglect. And you know, we've got groups here and there who are trying their best. We're making progress in regaining our history. We're making progress in gaining recognition, in the growth of consciousness, and we want to thank people like yourself who've paved that way for others to follow. This evening, ladies and gentlemen, thank you. Thank you very much. And let us continue that struggle. Let us continue that movement. Have a good evening.
Thank you. As a matter of fact, when Ms. Ballantyne contacted me, I responded by saying, I met some of your family in 2009 during the Garifuna Homecoming reunion in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, because we did spend half a day in Sandy Bay. And I told her, I said, well, I've heard that so many times. Well, it is. St. Vincent and the Grenadines is the homeland of the Garifuna. So therefore, Ms. Ballantyne, I am your long-lost cousin. Okay, continuing with the remarks, I'd like to invite this, again, the importance of networking. We all hear about networking, right? And we all read about networking. You just heard that it was through our friend, Vilma Guiti Zuniga, that this happened with the Borough President. Well, Vilma also sent some messages around asking for addresses. And one of the responses that she got was, Vilma, Health First would like to help. So I immediately drafted a letter, said, Mr. Halls, we will be happy to have Health First as the sole sponsor of this event. Next thing we know, I get a call from Jerry saying, by the way, Mr. Halls has decided to sponsor this event. Please put your hands together and let us welcome Mr. George Halls, CEO of Health First.
Thank you. On behalf of Health First, let me say how honored we are to be here with you. And I see the Mayor of Harlem here to my right, to your left. How honored we are to be here with this wonderful celebration with our new Borough President. And, of course, the Garifuna community is no stranger to Health First. We have sponsored many events in the Bronx with the Garifuna community, and we're absolutely delighted to be a part of this. For those who don't know, you know, maybe sometimes people say, why does Health First sponsor so many events in our community? Well, 11 years ago, when I became a vice president at Health First, I told our then president that we should be the community's health plan. If we're really a not-for-profit managed care plan, if we're owned by the local hospitals, then our primary responsibility should be making people happy and not making dollars. And he was in total agreement. You've got to operate at a profit, but you've got to have a responsibility to the community. And that's why we did so many things. Thank you so much. Why we have done so many things for the Garifuna community in the Bronx, and we're absolutely delighted to be here. I see some other friends from the West Indian Day Carnival Association, also our friends here, and others. You know, it was very easy for me to say we should do this. Number one, it was the right thing to do. We insure 10% of the people who live in New York City. I'm sure there are many people in this audience who belong to Health First. And so I work for you. And the 3,000 people who work at Health First, we are all honored to work for you. We're all honored to try to keep you healthy. But more than that, I have a personal interest in the Garifuna community. My father was born in Brooklyn and raised in Belize. And my father never talked about Belize history. My father only talked about the history of two people. He talked about the history of Haiti, and he talked about the history of the Garifuna people. And your history is not a history that is just your history. Your history is the history of all the Caribbean people and all the people of America. And there are many, many, many people who call you heroes. My father never said the Garifuna people. He said they were special people. They were black Caribs, he would say. And he would talk about your independence and your struggle. And when I finally went to Belize, one of the first things that I did, I went to Dangrica so that I could see where the Garifuna people lived. It used to be called Stan Creek when I was a kid, but they changed it to Dangrica. And so I went to Dangrica and I walked around the streets where the Garifuna people live. And I felt, as I walked around those streets, the way I felt today when I heard the anthem. You could feel the anthem in your soul, and you know that we are all African people, all connected, all one culture. So on behalf of the 950,000 people who have Health First, on the behalf of the 3,000 people who work at Health First, and the 20,000 doctors who do things at Health First, I want to say to each and every one of you how proud we are to support you, how much we are a part of you, and we celebrate you with you today on this great 217th anniversary. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Halls. Just in case, continuing with it, if you haven't noticed, that's the Garifuna flag for those of you who are not familiar with it. It's actually being flown on top of this building for the first time, but there it is. And if you notice that some of my sisters are wearing yellow, black, and white, it's a reflection of the flag. Thank you again, Mr. Halls. Okay, at this point, we're going to proceed with one of the aspects of Garifuna American Heritage Month is recognizing the contributions that we as Garinagu have made to the social fiber of this great city, this great state, and this great nation. That's what we do also. It's raising consciousness, raising awareness of who we are, but at the same time, letting the world know that there are Garinagu out there doing great things. And in many cases, you may not even know that there were Garifunas. And that's what we're going to do right now, is recognize the achievements of some of our fellow Garinagu. We're going to do the presentation of the honorees. And I'm going to start by calling Miss Rosita Alvarez. Okay. And you can read about Rosita over here, but let me just tell you that Rosita is one of the person that is preserving the Garifuna culture here in New York City.
So on behalf of Borough President Eric Adams, I present you this citation. Congratulations.
Thank you. Sereme, I'm very humbled by it. As you all know, some of you who knows me, I am not always up front. I am the person in the back. So I stand on the shoulders of the ancestors. So thank you.
Congratulations, Rosita. Next, and once again, as they come about, we're going to show their bios and you can read about them. Next, I'd like to invite Lucy Blanco.
Lucy, on behalf of Borough President Eric Adams, I present you this citation. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I'd like to thank the Office of Brooklyn Borough President Eric Adams, the Garifuna Coalition, and most importantly, Ms. Vilma Gwiti Suniga, who's been a big fan and supporter of the Afro-Garifuna Jazz Ensemble since the beginning. And I also would like to thank, of course, our ancestors, but my parents, Chano Ichila Blanco, for the strength and vision and courage and revolutionary idea they had to come to a land they did not know to find a better life for their children. So thank you very much. I'm very happy to receive this award.
Congratulations, Lucy. And next, I'd like to call out the person that I mentioned, well, his father, being one of the ancestors. I'd like to invite Mr. Abelardo Guerrero, Jr.
On behalf of Borough President Eric Adams, I would like to present you this citation. Congratulations.
There you go.
Wow. Buitigunyo. Wow. I'd like to thank the Garifuna Coalition, and I'd like to thank Eric Adams for making this possible. I also like to thank my dad. For teaching us Garifuna, they're making me proud to be Garifuna. For letting me know that being Garifuna was a good thing. I'd like to thank my sister for coming from Honduras. I love you, sis.
Bring her up here. Bring her on up. Bring her up.
Thanks. Thank everybody for coming out. This is an honor for me. Thank you.
Congratulations, Abelardo. Let's give him another hand. Our ancestors are happy. Next, I'd like to call Mr. James Lovell.
Again, on behalf of Borough President Eric Adams, I would like to present you this citation. Congratulations.
Ida hayagi ni duhe nigu. Dahali talo apanta ha. Ida hayagi. Seremenia ho lo hachilere lo guala nadimer ha musero. Pero nadimer ha lida inglés. I am holding this citation on behalf of my ancestors who were exiled from St. Vincent. And I also want each and every one of you to be a witness that over 217 years, the Garifuna culture was suppressed in St. Vincent by the British. But I also want to let you know that in 2011, myself and 6 other passionate Garifuna men and women, okay, went back and was able to teach the children in St. Vincent for them to be able to speak and sing and dance and play the Garifuna drum. I thank you and I thank the kids in St. Vincent for their passion. I thank the kids in St. Vincent for their passion, and hence the reason why I'm here today to hold this on their behalf. Thank you.
Congratulations, James. I mentioned before that it was 2009 when we organized the first Garifuna reunion, and that actually, I didn't say it, so Ms. Valentine mentioned his name. Dr. Kadrin Gill flew from Los Angeles to meet us there. He is from Sandy Bay. And while we were in Sandy Bay, there were 20 of us, including the oldest person at that time, who was 83 years old, who flew from Honduras to New York so she could be there. And her words at that time was, "Now I can go in peace because I made it back home." And we lost her on February 5th of this year. But Dr. Kadrin Gill right there in St. Vincent said the following, "You know, this is amazing because here we are back." And he said, "And I am back, I am from here, but I'm back with those of you that were exiled. And you're the ones that kept the culture. You're the ones that kept the language." And he concluded by saying, "I see this as the beginning of the Garifuna Renaissance in St. Vincent and the Grenadine." And that was concluded with, as Jens mentioned, when they went in 2011 and started that program. Last September, I was in St. Vincent again, and I was privileged enough to hear the national anthem, Us and Vincent and the Grenadines, being sung in the English language first, like it typically is, but secondly, in the Garifuna language, thanks to the work of James Lovell and his team. Let's give him a hand. Last but not least, I'd like to invite my sister, Dr. Eulalia Centino.
Again, on behalf of Borough President Eric Adams, I would like to present you this citation. Congratulations. There you go.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of Brooklyn Borough President Eric Adams, I am honored to receive this proclamation. I want to thank the Garifuna Coalition for sponsoring this program for today, and to thank you for supporting and to do all that you can for the Garifuna community. We want to thank you. I also want to thank Ms. Vilma Witty Zuniga. If it wasn't because of your involvement in the community affairs, this would not have happened, and I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart. I also want to thank my brothers, my sister, my children, the Garifuna community, and those who work strongly with me, and my parents who are gone before me, for standing with me to be the person that I am, to speak Garifuna, that I can do it, I can speak it, I counsel in Garifuna, and I also speak the Garifuna language in proclaiming the words in Garifuna, and I want to give my family thanks for all this. Thank you. I just want to say a few moments in Garifuna Nibirigo. Buiti Rambawayu, Oembu Nugunda, Lunyabi, Lunagaha Buduni, Subudi Habuni Le, Lugiara Bela Nibirigo, Wonderoli Daba, Wargaduni Wahabuluogwa, Lumeme, La Fuliriha Lirasa Garifuna, Biniogwa de Nibirigo, Buiti Rambawayu. Sereme.
Would like to acknowledge Ms. Wanda Mercado, Community Liaison from the Office of the Honorable Darlene Milley, New York City Council member for the 31st District. Ms. Mercado, there she is. Thank you for being here. Thank you. All right, we're coming to the end. It was mentioned a few times, the battle in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. And my sister said it so well. The intent was to exterminate us. As a matter of fact, the current Prime Minister of St. Vincent and the Grenadines likes to say that the only people that will survive the internment in Baliso were reptiles. And half the population perished there. So obviously the intent was to exterminate us. And I'd like to say this in public. The fact that 217 years later, here we are at Brooklyn Borough Hall, concluding the 6th annual Garifuna American Heritage Month in the state of New York, in New York City, and every borough. Who really won the war? We are a resilient people, and we have survived, and we will continue to survive. At this point, I'd like to bring a lady that means a lot to the Garifuna Coalition. She's a member of our advisory board. She's an assistant executive of Phipps Neighborhoods. Please help me welcome our friend, Rosemary Ordóñez Jenkins.
Good evening, everyone. On behalf of the Garifuna Coalition, I'd like to thank the Brooklyn Borough President Eric Adams for hosting today's event along with the Garifuna Coalition. This has been a historical moment for us to have this event today here in the borough of Brooklyn. So I want you to join me in giving a round of applause to the Borough President of Brooklyn and his staff. Thank you. I'd also like to thank Vilma, who has been very instrumental in Brooklyn and guiding the community here and being a force to reckon with in terms of the Garifuna community, and we appreciate all the work that you've done for Brooklyn. So I thank you on behalf of our organization. I'd also like to thank our sponsor from Health First, George Hulse. I'd also like to say that the Garifuna community is also very involved with Health First. We work with Christine in the Bronx. So she works a lot at our organization to help sign up a lot of the Garifuna community, okay? I'd also like to tell our Brooklyn Borough President that even though I am from the Bronx, I'm in Brooklyn every Sunday because I go to CCC. I go to church here in Brooklyn every Sunday. So we do come to Brooklyn. I'd also like to congratulate all of the honorees. Keep up the good work, and we appreciate your work in the Borough of Brooklyn, the entertainment, the Afri Garifuna Jazz Ensemble, Joseph Satuye, Garifuna Folklore Ballet, and I'd also like to thank Jose and Sulma. There's always an organization or an individual who has a vision and a mission, and Jose Francisco Avila has done that with the Garifuna community. So I'd like you to join me in giving him a round of applause for the work he does. I'd also like to thank all of you for joining us here for this first monumental moment, and we look forward to being here next year. I'd also like all of you to join us now for a reception downstairs. Thank you for coming, and have a great evening.
If all the honorees would stay for a moment for a group shot. All the honorees, please. Do you want them up above? That's, yeah.
Martín, ¿a dónde? Arriba.